We all know quarterback is the highest paid position in the NFL, but when it comes to second place, it's a pretty close race between wide receiver and edge rusher. And TJ Watt, he just got extended, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. So yeah, pass rush, it kind of matters. It's kind of significant. That's why pass rushers are so deeply valued in the NFL draft. It's one of the few positions that can be drafted first overall over a quarterback. And when it comes to the 2026 NFL draft, there are a lot of edge rushers I want to talk about. So instead of doing a top 10, I'm going to be doing a top 15. But of course, stick around until the end because I'm going to have some honorable mentions. Now, without further ado, starting my top 15 edge rushers from the 2026 NFL draft class, we begin at 15. Mikael Kamara out of Indiana. He's 6'1", 265 pounds. Former zero-star recruit from the 2020 recruiting class. Currently have an early day 3 projection on him. And he initially starts his career at James Madison, which he ended up playing in the spring season in 2020 because of the Rona. They canceled the fall season, redshirted his 2021 season because he tore his labrum. And then he ended up starting the first 4 games in 2022, but he missed it with a high ankle sprain. It was really 2023 where he broke out, ended up being a second team all Sun Belt. And then he follows his head coach, Kurt Setnetti, to Indiana, where he goes off. He's a first team all Big Ten. He had 68 pressures, 10 sacks. He had a ridiculous pass rush win rate of 16.6%. That's a very, very good. Again, it's not in that 20%, but you're not going to get a lot of guys in that 20%. And when it comes to him, why I'm not higher on him than the general community. For one, he's probably going to be an older prospect. He's been around since 2020, so he's probably going to be around 24 when he begins his rookie year, maybe even 25. I don't have an exact age on him. He also has a history of torn labrums and ankle sprains, so that doesn't really help out. The shorter stature, probably going to have limited length. Matter of fact, he does have lackluster length. The strides are going to be shorter with him being a shorter player, not necessarily a dynamic athlete by the NFL standard. The missed tackle rate, 23.8% last year. Maybe that limited length just can't get a very good wrap up. And then effort sometimes works against him where he works himself out of the play. But you're getting an absolute dog. Again, those are all reasons why I don't have him as a day 2 player. But he's a hell of a great player. I'd be willing to take him 4th round, right at the beginning of the 4th, because he's just an absolute dog. He's got a dense, very powerful frame, plays with a huge motor, packs a lot of muscle combined with that just natural leverage, allows him not only to set the edge, but also come in with a pretty fun bull rush. That low center of gravity also allows him to dip under after initiating contact and just kind of flatten that corner and make his way to the quarterback. He's actually got a good toolbox of pass rush moves. He's got good counters as well after that initial rush kind of peters out. He's quick to pick up and close in on swings and screens. You really won't find another player just working as hard as him on the snap-to-snap basis. He's just a hell of a really good player and a player you would probably want on your football team. At number 14 is probably the Michigan edge rusher you weren't expecting. It's Jayshon Barham out of Michigan. He's 6'3", 248 pounds. And I say that because he's making the transition from linebacker to edge. At least that's what is reported. And I'm not going to have any of the other Michigan edge rushers on this list. I'll talk about them in the honorable mentions, being Derek Moore and TJ Guy. But Barham, I love the upside when it comes to Barham. You could just go back, former 4-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. He goes to Maryland initially, where, again, he's a linebacker there. He was being coached under the linebackers coach there in Maryland, Navarro Bowman. So former really good NFL player. Then he transfers to Michigan in 2024, started all 13 games at linebacker. And I'm not saying this is Abdul Carter. That's not what I'm saying here. But I think he's a twitched up athlete who moves exceptionally well when he does come in as a rusher or a blitzer. He's shown a variety of different fun moves. He's got this ghost and dip move, very explosive first step. He can run the hoop to capture the corner on tackles. He's got really good closing speed. Again, former linebacker. The dude's can pursue. He's a heat-seeking missile. The missed tackle rate was only 5.9% last year. All really good, absorbs contact well, shows no problem setting the edge, very encouraging play strength in the run game, very physical. At the point of attack, he rushed the passer from all over the place, from outside to lining up in the A or the B gap in mug fronts. And if you look at the pass rush upside over his career, 61 pressures, 8 sacks. And again, this is just doing it as a bit of a freelancer, I suppose. And he comes downhill with a head of steam. He also has some coverage experience being an off-ball linebacker. So that's going to be encouraging that, okay, you could use him in a variety of different ways. He's not just this stand-up pass rusher. However, some of the cons, he is moving to the edge, needs to add more muscle on that frame because he does look a little bit more thin. He needs to add more mass. When rushing off the edge, there's a little bit of a false step there. I'm sure that gets worked out when you're doing it more full time. The hand usage needs to be a little bit better. Sometimes he just kind of buries his shoulder into blockers. He can lose his anchor when trying to peep into the backfield. He is a dive and drag tackler. Kind of like he wants to hit hard, and when he squares up, he just goes and gets after it. Goes for the soul crushing hit, and it just I know that you don't see it in the missed tackle rate, but that's a style that just kind of lends itself to more missed tackles. I wish there was more splash plays in coverage, but again, you're moving to the edge, not the end all be all. I'm really excited. I'm not planting my flag in him or anything, but I think he's a dude that can definitely have a big come up during the season and during the offseason draft process. And then at number 13 is Tyreek Sapp out of Florida. He's 6'2", 274 pounds. I'm sure a lot of people are like, whoa, this is a top 10 edge rusher in this class. He's someone that gets some first round love. I have a 3rd round projection on him. He's a former 4-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. Redshirted his freshman season, became a big part of the rotation in 2022 as a redshirt freshman, and has been essentially a full-time starter since then. He had 26 pressures, 8 sacks this past season. I get it. There's a lot to like with him. He plays with good natural leverage, very powerful base, sets the edge well, very stout anchor, keeps good gap discipline, looks at home, really just kind of over or inside the tackle. That's kind of where I have him at. I have him as this like 3-4 end type, and he carries good pop in his hands. He's able to control the point of attack, very heavy handed, does a good job redirecting blockers to close rushing lanes. The hand usage is really just elite. When it comes to him, he's able to stack and shed with violence, possesses a very nice cross chop. The combination of leverage and leg drive just makes for a very good bull rush. He was voted a team captain. He's got a lot of special teams experience, whether it be on the field goal unit or even the kickoff coverage. However, the shorter stature kind of makes me believe he might have less than ideal length. Doesn't really have a very explosive first step for the edge position. He's got adequate closing speed. The burst is good enough to finish plays in the backfield, but in terms of pursuit, I really don't see it. Looks lost in space. Like, he loses where the ball is in the backfield. That's why I think he's better hand in the ground rather than stand up. Is a bit of a tweener, so a little undersized for a 3-4 end. I mean, not terribly. Like, you throw 10 pounds on him, then it's like, yeah, cool. He can make it work. And he's got the room to do it. So I don't necessarily see the upside. I don't think it's that elite upside that you would expect for a first rounder, But somewhere on day 2, I think you're getting a hell of a player. Coming in at number 12, it's Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee, 6'3", 240 pounds. He was the guy next to, or at least across from, James Pierce Jr. I have a 3rd round grade on him, former 4-star from the 2022 recruiting class, and he's just been used in the rotation a ton. Not a ton. I don't want to say a ton. I think last year was the first year where he eclipsed over 300 snaps in a season, but he was a part of that rotation, especially early in his freshman season. Last year, he got 5 starts, but again, he was utilized a ton. And this dude's like a pterodactyl. I think in high school, it was reported that his wingspan was 82 inches. Might be longer than that. Again, this was in high school, but he's got long arms, anaconda length. It's just insane. The frame is pure muscle as well, and he has more play strength than you would expect at 240 pounds, so he certainly has room to add more mass. Possesses some power in those hands. He's got a really good push-pull move, a nice club move as well. Gets natural leverage, giving him a good bull rush, but he can also set the edge. Like, he's better in the run game than you would expect. A very explosive first step, does a good job of converting speed into power. The bend with his body control to dip the corner just shows up, especially on stunts. Like, he can be that looper that can get in and just cause some chaos. He uses the length to scrap and claw at ball carriers. Last season, 3 forced fumbles, very high effort player, and smooth mover too. Like, he's got the hips to change direction in pursuit. So a ton to like about him, but he needs to use the length better. He needs to put it together better as an overall pass rusher. He does struggle to keep blockers out of his pads. He tries to I just don't feel he tries to extend his arms to disengage. So there can be better arm extension there when it comes to him. Like, his long arm needs to be used more often as a pass rush move. He can certainly polish up on his hand technique, but if those things click, like we're talking about a guy with a lot of upside, and you're gonna see that for this guy and who I have at number 11. They are high upside guys that if you want to include them as top 50 prospects or even like fringe first rounders, it makes sense to me, but there's more I want to see there. There's aspects that they need to do a better job to complete their game. A couple other things that are a little bit nitpicks here and there. You can be a better finisher, 19.7% missed tackle rate. I think he ducks his head into contact, so he kind of loses that just causes you to lose sight of what's going on in the backfield because you're too busy with your head buried in the blocker's bosom. No real special teams experience to speak of there, but if you're talking about a guy that could get drafted on day 1, day 2, you're not worried about the lack of special teams experience. And then at number 11, this could be the hottest take of the video maybe, but I have Mateo Uiagalelei out of Oregon. He's 6'5", 270 pounds. He was a former 5-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. He played defensive end and defensive tackle in high school. His brother is DJU, the quarterback that played at Clemson and Oregon State and Florida State. And I think he's now a UDFA, or he was a UDFA, and I think he signed with the Chargers. But Mateo, he started his career. He was a part of the rotation, saw a good amount as a freshman, 330 snaps, got his first start in the Fiesta Bowl. And then this past year, full-time starter, first team, all Big Ten, 9 sacks this past season, 31 pressures. I pulled these stats from PFF. So if they're not what you see on ESPN, it's like, I don't like that half sack game. Either you got a sack or you didn't. Well, what if they helped out with the sack? Then it's like, okay, then just give them the full sack. I don't like these half sack totals, but nonetheless, why people love this dude. Great combination of height, weight, speed. He carries his weight exceptionally well. You look at that frame and you're like, you have room to put on more mass, more weight. And he's already at 270. Very good first step, but even better, the closing speed is nuts. It's nuts. Once he has his rush lane, watch out. He's going to get there, and he's going to get there in a hurry, with urgency, with fury. He gets even with blockers quickly. He's able to flatten that corner without losing much of that momentum. He always works the half man when rushing, and I think he rushes with a pretty solid plan. He's got a good spin move. He uses it more often than not to work his way back to the play or back in the play. Say he gets like ridden by the pocket, or he maybe got two upfield in a run fit. He's able to spin back towards the action in an effort to make a play. So I like that. He tries a lot of different things as a pass rusher, but my favorite's probably that rip and dip he has. I think it's by far the most effective move he has in his arsenal. He's a very patient in run defense, somewhat to a fault, but he does keep good gap discipline. But I would like to see a little bit quicker read and react and whatnot. Big motor, plays to and through the whistle. You love it. Why I'm a little bit lower on him, and this is again with him and with Joshua Josephs, it's more wait and see. I want to see how they do this season before I really bump them up my board. I mean, there's going to be other guys you see on this list where it's maybe more projection oriented, but like with Mateo, I feel like he plays a little too upright. This leads to issues in the run game with leverage. The tall pad level will just zap his strength. Again, if guys are able to get under you, then you're just not going to be able to get a good base and really enforce, whether that be as a pass rusher or in the run game. Lacks the violent stack and shed ability when setting the edge. Ball carriers can run through arm tackles. There are times where he does slip off of tackles as well. A little stiff in the lower body. I think a little bit of that could be because of the leverage or just the pad level he plays with. And the closing speed doesn't really translate when plays break outside the pocket, or basically things break outside of structure, or if he's coming from the backside and trying to pursue a ball carrier. That closing speed doesn't really translate to pursuit speed all the time. There are times where he's just eventually outran. But I get it. I get why a lot of people like him. And this is just a really good class with a lot of guys that I kind of like off the bat. So we'll see how the year treats him. Could end up being a top 50 prospect. Again, young dude, true junior, could decide to come back. And like, there's definitely a top 10 potential with him. There certainly is. And now we begin the DPR portion of my rankings here, as I have at number 10, R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. He's coming in at 6'2", 249 pounds. And if you don't know what DPR means, it's designated pass rush only. But this dude's a former 4-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. He also participated in track and field as a sprinter. His father, Harvey, played defensive end for Florida State. And interesting start for R. Mason Thomas's career at Oklahoma, as he had his first 2 seasons a little bit derailed because of high ankle sprains. So back-to-back high ankle sprains on different legs nonetheless. Bit of not a red flag, but like maybe should be checked out. Last season, played all 13 games, 11 starts, second team all SEC. And I get why people might love this dude. Compact build, but he explodes out of the blocks. He attacks with natural leverage at that 6'2", but elite speed, elite bend. He can dip and rip all day. Low out of his stance, turns the corner with a very low pad level while maintaining that speed, that momentum. Great change of direction, can pursue more shifty ball carriers who try to bounce outside. And the legs never stop moving. I say this in every video. It's positions irrelevant. If you are a player who continues to churn his legs through contact, it's probably a good thing. I think it just translates to every position, and he does that. He does that, and I like it a lot. Pretty strong pound for pound, gritty player who just won't sit back and let blockers manhandle him. He has experience dropping into coverage. He has the athleticism to be decent in coverage. He lined up and produced all across that Sooners defensive line. Oklahoma didn't run many stunts, but just imagine this dude with his athletic ability on stunts. Kind of nuts. The motor, it's always running white hot. Also, he comes from an athletic family. His sisters played travel volleyball. And again, his father, former collegiate defensive lineman. Now, does lack ideal height and weight and length for the position. His frame looks pretty maxed out. Definitely has only a few go-to moves. Probably could add more finesse moves to his arsenal. The limited length definitely impacted him as a tackler, as he had a 27.3 missed tackle rate. That is the highest I have in my top 15. That's just insane. And he can get manhandled and moved in the run game. Even if he's going to fight it, it just kind of happens. That's kind of why I have his role as a DPR. And I don't know how high you take that player. Again, third round projection. You also got the high ankle issues. That's kind of scary. But R. Mason, he was a hell of a fun watch. Then my other DPR candidate on here is David Bailey out of Texas Tech. He's 6'3", 250 pounds, former 4-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. He played edge and off-ball linebacker in high school. His older brother played football at Harvard. So smart guys, because I mean, Bailey, he started his career at Stanford, where he was immediately a starter. He had 9 starts in 2022. 2023, 5 starts, but he played in 10 games. Then last year, only 2 starts, because again, this dude was very heavily used on pass rush situations. Decides to transfer. Now he's a Red Raider. Made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list in 2023 for his rare speed. He's been clocked multiple times at 20 miles per hour on the field. That's just ludicrous. That's just nuts. He's a twitched up athlete. Very explosive first step, great bend, accelerates around the corner with insane closing speed. Nice variety of speed and finesse moves. A really good Euro step or rocker step, whatever people call that, where it's kind of like you step outside, you step outside, kind of opening it up, trying to get the offensive tackle's pads to open up outside, and then you take them inside. It's just like in the NBA. Just saying, it's just like in basketball. He also, hands are active, just demonstrating nice club and rip moves, plays with a good pad level, gets really low when dipping around the corner, has the pursuit speed to make plays from the backside or in the passing game on screens, had 5 forced fumbles last season. Now, you look at his frame, much like R. Mason Thomas. It feels pretty maxed out. You feel like the length is going to be a little limited. He can get engulfed by blockers in the run game and just get washed out. The play strength is okay, but he can be driven off of the ball. No real power moves to speak of. Like, there's a bull rush he has. It kind of peters out after his initial push, so he can collapse the pocket somewhat with his bull rush. Just did get carried off some potential tackles just by momentum, so slipped off tackles because he runs with a hot motor, man. He's a bit bull in a china shop in some regards, so he slipped off some tackles. It was at what was his missed tackle rate at? 20.7%. So again, the film is reflected by the analytics. He was a spot dropper at Stanford, but wasn't really productive in that regard. Also, this is something important to note. Could be a red flag for some people. 5 penalties in 2024. He was also disqualified from the second half of the NC State game for kicking a player. So it's kind of important to note. But I liked him a tad better than R. Mason Thomas. Also, the analytics are just a bit more ridiculous. Like, you look at the win rate, 27.5%. That's kind of outlandish. If you go to his true pass rush win rate, which basically takes out any influence by the run game, so no RPOs, no play actions and whatnot, 46.5. kind of wild. It's rare that you're above 30, but he's above 40. That's kind of nuts. So at number 8, I'm going to be talking about 2 players. Mainly, I'm going to focus on Max Llewellyn out of Iowa, but I'm also going to give a little love to Anto Saka out of Northwestern because essentially these are 2 guys who have all of the tools. Their tools are ridiculous. They just haven't played a lot. They haven't eclipsed over 300 snaps in any given season yet. But I'm going to first talk about Max, and then I'll get into Saka. But with Max, he's out of Iowa. He's 6'5", 258 pounds. He's a former 4-star recruit from the 2021 recruiting class. He played both tight end and defensive line. His brother Luke plays basketball for Iowa. And he just he's been a reserve for a large part of his career. And then last year he got a part of the rotation and again, didn't eclipse 300 snaps and primarily was this DPR type playing as a pass rusher, but 35 pressures, 6 sacks, 21% pass rush win rate. It's hella good. Hella good. I will say he will be 24 before his rookie year. So that's kind of, I don't know about that. But, dude, prototypical weight, frame, length, to play in multiple fronts, explosive first step, great play speed, closes the distance insanely well, does a masterful job of setting up tackles before beginning engagement, very nasty spin move. Not only is he quick, but he also covers a lot of ground. The hands are fast, they're violent, regularly keeps tackles off balance. And you know what? I think the length is probably why I chose Llewellyn over Saka. But again, I'll talk about Saka in a sec. I love the motor when it comes to Max. He doesn't give up on backside pursuit. He'll even make plays in that regard. He has the length to reach and grab ball carriers and just pull them down. But he needs to prove he can hold up versus the run. It's just an unknown area to his game right now. He did sometimes get stuck and washed out of the run game. And he's always playing at 100 miles an hour. So there will be times where he gets ridden by the pocket or he'll slip off ball carriers. But this is a tools-based projection here. Now let's talk about Saka because he was one of the last guys I watched because I saw he didn't have like a ton of film. So it was like, okay, I guess I'll watch him. I don't know if I'll really come to a grade with him, but golly, I could see why. I think Dane Brugler, or maybe it was Todd McShay, put him in their first round projection mock. I could see why. So he's a former 4-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. He participated in track and field as a shot put, but he was also a member of their relay team. And he's primarily just been a reserve. Again, hasn't eclipsed 300 snaps in any given season. Speed freaking kills with this cat. He's explosive. He's like a Tasmanian devil. Elite first step. Great closing speed. And just, I mean, despite not really playing a ton in the run game, he's shown a lot of promise there. And again, I don't want to talk too much about him. Because I really wanted to focus on Llewellyn here. But when it comes to Saka, it does look like he might have average length, averaged maybe to below average. That's kind of reflected in sometimes he gets caught in engagement or defenders just get it in his pads relatively well. It's just he kind of plays so crazy. It's hard to actually get a good grip on him. He has 3 penalties in back-to-back years. And it's not like these were false starts or holds or something or hands to the face or whatever. It's like roughing the passer. So that's like, you go to the Iowa game for Northwestern to see that. So yeah, I knew that these were 2 players that I could have included both of them on this list, but there's such a small sample size. I just kind of wanted to collectively put them together. And now I think this is the part of the list where we're getting into top guy territory, guys that are probably top 50 picks in my opinion. And I want to start that with Donnie Dennis Sutton. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It looks like it should be Danny, but I think it's like Donnie or something. I don't know. I don't listen to the broadcast. I watch all 22. I don't know what to tell you. But he's 6'5", 265 pounds, looks much bigger. He looks thicker than that. Out of Penn State, I have a second round projection, so it's kind of like fringe top 50, but it's probably going to be top 50 after I put the big board together. Former 5-star recruit. It is Donnie. No, Deny. It's Deny. There we go. I had the pronunciation right in front of me. Look at me looking out for myself and then I'm not even noticing. But former 5-star recruit out of the 2022 recruiting class. Also played basketball in high school. He began his career as a rotation player his freshman year. And then his sophomore year, he got 3 starts. This year was really the first full year as a starter. Matter of fact, I talked about him last year in my summer scouting, but he's returned for probably seemingly his final season. Had 45 pressures, 9 sacks last year, 14.4% pass rush win rate. Very imposing size, humongous wingspan, very good first step. And I think it's the closing speed that's really scary. He's just so good in a straight line. That's really what it is. The pass rush arsenal revolves around his length and strength. So there's a variety of long arm moves, but he's got a good bull rush. He's got low key, a pretty nasty spin move. Times the snap pretty well. Gets an early get off on stunning the tackle. Packs a lot of power along his frame. So it's no surprise that he's got pop in his hands, but great leg drive. Ideal crasher on stunts. He has the strength to take out and clear blockers for loopers in that regard. Stout versus the run, sets the edge well. He's capable at eating and beating double teams. And he's got that alignment versatility. He lined up anywhere from 9 wide to the 3 tech. However, I do got some negatives here. Good first step for his size, but lacks ideal agility and flexibility. A little stiff when moving side to side. Plays with a high pad level, standing straight up almost every snap. Gets out in front of his skis occasionally, led to some balance issues. Needs to find more ways to win when his initial rush is stalled. Would like to see more violence and hand counters throughout the duration of the rep. Can be fooled by misdirection in the run game. Not always in the best position to pull down ball carriers. 21.1% missed tackle rate last year. And I talked about he times the snap well. It does lead to some false starts where he either times it too well or he's a little bit early on it. He had 5 penalties last year, but you just look at the build and you're like, golly, this dude had there was a reason why I think I had a top 50 grade on him. And largely that's kind of where I'm at with them this year. Let's see if that production can continue to take that step up. At number 6, it's Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. He's 6'4", 255 pounds, got a surefire top 50 grade on him. Former 3-star recruit out of the 2021 recruiting class. He also played basketball in high school. His father, Maximilian, by the way, that's his name. That's wild. He played hockey at Miami of Ohio. And Howell started his career at Bowling Green. He was on my list last year for my summer deep dives. I just ended up not getting to him. He ended up returning to school this year, so I didn't watch him last year either. But I got to watch him this summer. Starts his career at Bowling Green. Redshirted his freshman season, was mainly a reserve in 2022, but then he broke out, played in 13 games, 11 starts, made third team All MAC. And he transfers to Texas A&M, where he played in all 13 games as a part of the rotation. But that line had Shamar Stewart and Nick Scordon. So those are 2 guys that went in the first 2 rounds of this past draft. Stewart seemingly almost came back to school because, well, Bengals, they're a nightmare, but that's not happening. But his lone start house came in the Las Vegas Bowl. And let me tell you, I think he's got good length. He maximizes his length really well with a good long arm move that stems from a variety of, or at least he stems that out from a variety of other moves. Having pass rush moves isn't whether you have them or you don't, isn't the end all be all. If you're a guy who, let's say I really only have 3 to 4 go-to moves, but I have a ton of secondary moves or counters that I play off of those initial moves, you could be very, very successful in that regard. And I think Howell's kind of in that boat. He's just got a good toolbox of like counters, and his inside counters are very deadly because he's got a very good spin move. Like, he's just a great athlete. Like, he's lightning quick first step. The change of direction is insane. He could threaten a tackle both inside and outside, and that spin move is a large part of it. He's able to flatten in the corner and just whip around tackles without losing much speed. And you know what? He's stronger than you'd expect. Good pop in the hands, makes for a nice bull rush. The movement skills are really good. He can make backside plays in the run game. He can be a looper and stunts, but also he does not a terrible job in coverage. Like, he has the athleticism to be more than just a spot dropper. He's had coverage responsibilities to take on like tight ends and whatnot. He had 3 pass breakups this past year, so he made splash plays in coverage. On top of that, did a fine job of stacking and shedding in the run game, though that's probably where a lot of my hesitancies are with him, is with the run game. Just not many, like, he's competitive versus the run, but he can be also washed out, especially like double teams just annihilate him. He does have a bit of a false step, but he's so explosive, I don't think I really care. He can get ridden by the pocket, and I would like to see a little bit urgency. I would like to see a little bit urgency to try to work himself back into the play, especially with that spin move. You could fight yourself back into that play. You just need to hit that emergency break, spin, and you got the pursuit speed. You have the closing speed. Go and get after it, young man. Not many snaps with his hand in the dirt. I don't think really matters. And I'm kind of curious to see, which it should. Texas A&M's got a lot of talent on that defensive line. But last year, it was a ton of like NFL talent, and it created a lot of one-on-one opportunities for him. So what if he doesn't have those this year? Will he be still as productive? But I like him a ton. Got a top 50 grade on him. Basically a 20% pass rush win rate this past year. Love it. And then at number 5, it's Gabe Akis out of Illinois. I almost gave this dude a first round grade. I was so close, but I ended up landing on the top 50 projection. We'll see where he lands on the big board. But 6'3", 275 pounds. He had 44 pressures last year, 8 sacks, 18.7% pass rush win rate. Former 3-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. He wrestled in high school. He won the 3A state title as a junior at 220 pounds. And then this is kind of a fun story. His brother, Khalik, played defensive line at Florida International, and he's now kind of mentoring his younger brother. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people point out, man, this dude broke out as a freshman with 8 starts, and then in 2023 was kind of a little bit of a sophomore slump, a little bit of regression, but he still managed 10 starts. And then last year, back on track, 3rd team, all Big Ten. This dude's jacked to the gill. I don't think there is a pound on this guy that isn't muscle. Straight up serious. He made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list in 2023 for his raw strength and power. Unworldly strength. There is a rep. Did I put against who? I did. Okay, there is a rep where he's bull rushing the tackle while the guard is kind of on his back, like he piggybacking. It was against Michigan, if you could find it. And I think he's coming in on the right side, but it was funny. I was like, this is kind of just nuts. He's got ludicrous strength. There we go. Plays with violence, can knock blockers back with strikes or just ragdoll them for quick wins. The wrestling background shows up. He's a very adept grappler who always plays on balance. Way better athlete than I expected. Good burst, but better closing speed. The athleticism was showcased on stunts with him as a looper. Very flexible. He's flexible enough to finesse blockers when given kind of a two-way go, which he was given quite a bit because Illinois used him as a stand-up pass rusher quite a bit. I mean, he was used a lot around along the line, but I don't know. I think this man should be playing with his hand in the dirt just because of how strong he is. And when playing as a stand-up pass rusher, I think he plays too upright. You kind of mitigate that by coming lower, which sounds kind of weird, but like putting your hand in the dirt and coming from the ground up rather than kind of standing up and having to kind of load yourself in a track-ish position. But I think he's probably better for even fronts. Though, then again, at his weight, with how much muscle he's got on his frame, he could probably be a 3-4 end, but I think you work him better as just kind of handing his dirt pass rusher. But I think you can also work him as a stand-up pass rusher and be okay with it. Relentless motor. He came on a stunt where he pushed right by the right guard and the running back. That was against Michigan State, by the way. But what I don't like, the power fades quickly when he does lose that leverage. That's why I maybe don't ideally like him as a stand-up rusher. A great athlete for his size, but not elite bend. Don't get it twisted. Probably what kept me from giving him a first-round grade. He has dropped back into coverage quite a bit at Illinois. I don't think that translated in the NFL. Sure, throw him in the flats. That's about it. He should be rushing the passer. But I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect to like Gabe Akis as much as I did. I ended up loving him. At number 4, it's Keldrick Folk out of Auburn. He's 6'6", 270 pounds. I have a first-round grade on him. I kind of tottered and teetered between top 50 or first round. But when you look at the tools, the athletic ability, when you recognize, he'll be 20 to start his rookie year if he declares for this class. He was a team captain as a sophomore. Then you're like, yeah, probably deserves the first round tag. So I gave it to him. He's a former 4-star recruit out of the 2023 recruiting class. Played wide receiver and defensive end in high school. Also played basketball. And his younger brother, JJ, is also on the Auburn football team. So that's kind of fun. But Auburn immediately knew we need to play this guy more as a freshman. He ended up starting the final 8 games of the year. He made the SEC all-freshman team. And then this year, full-time starter, 45 pressures, 9 sacks. And he just has an incredible combination of height, weight, length, athleticism, great length, raw strength. He could jolt blockers back or even just force his way right through their bodies. He plays with good leverage with his hand in the dirt despite that height. And he's just tough to move. He stays square, anchors down well, can set the edge. The hands pack a lot of pop, a lot of power. He is very violent at the point of attack. He likes to use a long arm stab on the outside, but he has flashed, I would say, maybe a bit more advanced hand fighting when playing on the interior. And I don't know if part of that is, all right, well, I know I am athletically better than who's going on, than what's going on across from me when I line up against a center or a guard, opposed to tackle, where again, those are going to be better athletes out there. So I don't know if that's a thing with him, but he's able to slip and circle around guards and centers from a inside alignment. He stacks sheds and tackles all in one move. If you look at over the last 2 years, he's got a 7.9% missed tackle rate. Hella good. 57 defensive stops. And defensive stop is a metric by PFF. Basically just records anytime a play results in a negative yards lost, whatever, or no gain, so that he was involved in. So that's a heck of a lot. The alignment versatility, this dude's used all over the line. And on top of that, I kind of already mentioned, one of the youngest players in the class, also voted a team captain that young. Good, not great burst off the line of scrimmage, kind of to be expected at 270. The pass rush plan is currently specifically on the outside. Ooh, me strong, me gonna overpower you. And that's kind of reflected in his true pass rush win rate, which you're typically getting more one-on-one opportunities, only 12.7%. So you would love to see that number get much, much better. Your mobility is good for his size, but outside runs can't get away from him. Leverage leaves him in a 2-point stance. And when you're playing with high pads, the power is going to go away from you. It just is. Struggles to free himself from engagement once locked up, even by tight ends. I think it was either Oscar Delp or Lucky Lawson, one of the Georgia tight ends, who was able to not just like drop their anchor, box him out, and redirect him, which was kind of nuts to me on a run play. And I was like, I don't know about that, my friend, but all the tools are there. Exceptionally young, doesn't even have to declare for this class. Already shown to be a team leader at his age. So yeah, there's a lot the NFL is going to love about this dude. At number 3, it's Ruben Bain Jr. out of the U, Miami, my Miami Hurricanes. And he's coming in at 6'3", 275 pounds. He was formerly a 4-star recruit from the 2023 recruiting class. His uncle, Tolbert, played defensive back for the Hurricanes, and his brother, Reggie, played offensive line at Florida Atlantic. And he is now actually a grad assistant with the Hurricanes. So that's kind of fun. But Ruben Bain exploded as a freshman. He started 11 games, made third team All SEC. He was also selected as a freshman All-American. And then unfortunately this year he was slowed by a soft tissue calf injury, which anything with the ankle, the calf, takes away from explosiveness as a pass rusher, because especially if it's kind of your load foot, it's just going to take away from that explosiveness. And we kind of saw that with Mikael Williams last year. We're like, okay, let's see if he can break out this year. He gets the high ankle sprain early, and it's like, we never really got a true look at a guy that had all the tools in the world. We just wanted to see the production. So he was slowed by that. And I mean, with any soft tissue injuries, especially with the calf, it's going to be an immediate red flag. But you're just going to want to make sure it checks out. With soft tissue injuries in general, they're just so hard to rehab. They just are. So you're going to want his medicals to check out, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. Again, no prior issue with this. This dude's got a stocky build. Fire hydrant-like build. Keeps the pads low. Off the snap. Great explosiveness. Insane. Hands are both fast and powerful. They're like lightning bolts. That was the best description I could give. I was actually pretty proud of that. Punishing is probably the best way to describe just having to go up against him. He has a large array of pass rush moves and counters. Favors the bull rush a ton, which it's extremely effective. But he's also got a quick swim move. But he's also got a really good Euro step if you're going to give him a two-way. And I mean, I could talk about his moves all day, for real. Rare bend at his weight. Can flatten the corner without losing momentum. You've heard that a couple of times already in this video. He can run the hoop as a stunt or as a looper on stunts. He has the lateral ability to redirect and make plays in space from the backside. Keeps his pads clean versus the run. He's able, basically, he can take that one arm, keep distance with arm extension, kind of peek, and then make a move with the other arm to kind of stack and shed. A great closing speed, plays with a non-stop motor, and the alignment versatility anywhere from 9 wide to 3 tech. Arm length might be less than ideal. I'm not certain, but it certainly isn't a selling point for him. Does struggle to wrap up, which again kind of lends its credence to maybe he's got lackluster arm length. 21.7% along his career. It's kind of why he is kind of a reach and grab guy, and if your reach ain't that great, then you're not going to be grabbing a ton. Sometimes gets too upstream when playing the run, opening up cutback lanes, but there's so much to love about Ruben, and there's going to be a lot of similarities between Ruben Bain and my number 2, who was a guy that I was really high on last year, decided to come back, and I guess I should just go ahead and get into it. With number 2, LT Overton out of Alabama. He's 6'5", 280 pounds, was a former 5-star recruit from the 2022 recruiting class. He played both sides of the trenches and also played basketball in high school. His father, Milton, played offensive line at Oklahoma, and he was the associate AD at Texas A&M. Currently, he's the AD at Kennesaw State. His mother played volleyball at Kentucky, and his brother currently plays defensive line at Arkansas State. So he comes from a very athletic family. So Overton started his career at Texas A&M, had 3 starts his freshman season, turned that into 1 start, but did play in all 12 regular season games in 2023 and decided, you know what, screw this. I want to be a full-time starter. I'm going to go to Alabama. He had 4 starts, but played a lot for Alabama. Ended up having 39 pressures, 3 sacks, 18% pass rush win rate. And I thought he might come out because the tools are just insane. Just insane. Again, 6'5", 280, and the way he can move at 280, it's just kind of nuts. He is stronger than you, and he knows it. He's both powerful and violent, can ragdoll or dog walk. Good offensive lineman because he's playing the SEC there. He regularly lifts tight ends, just lifts up tight ends and forklifts them and just moves them out of the way off their feet. It's like he's playing with a child, just like, get out of my way. Mufasa, Simba's them, I guess. But eats and discards down and drive blocks really well. So you love to see that when it comes to like more so the run game. Combination of pop and leg drive consistently gets mock blockers moving backwards. He may have a big frame, but I kind of already mentioned this. He moves like he's 40 pounds lighter. Just good burst with scary suddenness and change direction. Rangy player with closing speed to be a factor in pursuit. Athletic enough to spot drop, which he did in coverage last year. His go-to pass rush moves, bull rush, cross chop, club rip, all disgusting. Just disgusting. Relentless motor. He is the same player in the fourth quarter as he was in the first. Can be a penetrator or a looper when it comes to stunts. I think he can do both of those jobs at a high level. Versatile skill set allows him to play multiple positions along multiple fronts. However, we know it. He's raw, right? He hasn't really turned in elite production, but I think we're on the cusp of that. I really do. I think we're gonna probably see that this season. He doesn't really rush with a cohesive pass rush game plan. He's just out there either trying to overpower or out athlete the blockers. His initial strike doesn't always land home, kind of minimizing the effectiveness of his counters and secondary moves. Spin move needs to go back to the drawing board. Might be like, it's not that it's not fast. It just goes in nowhere. He looks like a ballerina sometimes, spinning in one place, and the blocker's just like, okay. So needs to work on it, but he's got the athletic ability to really make it work. Needs to use the length to get better arm extension to peek into the backfield. Kind of mentioned that with Bane being good at that despite his length. Occasionally loses containment and works himself out of a gap, so needs to clean up as a more disciplined run defender, but he can be a really good run defender when it comes to this class just because of the strength, the speed, the length, all that. He needs to clean up the missed tackle rate. A lot of ankle attempts, just diving out at ankles and getting nothing. Like to see him clean that up, but absolutely love both Ruben Bain and LT Overton. It's like 2A and 2B. And then there is my number one, TJ Parker out of Clemson. He's 6'3", 265 pounds. I have given him a blue chip grade, and I'm going to be honest, Overton and Bain aren't far away from it either. But when it comes to TJ Parker, former 4-star recruit out of the 2023 recruiting class, his actual first name, Tamarian. I don't know. Tamarian? I think it's Tamarian. But yeah, sick. Tamarian Carter would have been a sick name too. But he goes with TJ. He ended up getting 3 starts his freshman season. But you kind of knew, okay, there's something cooking here. This is going to be a special just recruiting class because it was with Peter Woods as well. Ends up being a first-team All-ACC last year. 51 pressures, 12 sacks, had a 15% pass rush win rate. What I like about him, keeps low off the snap. He angles his body well to leverage blockers. Exceptionally good closing speed to be and it just led to some violent car crash like tackles. 6 forced fumbles last year because he's just such a hard hitter. Elite hand usage, strikes pack a lot of power. He has a bag full of secondary moves. The combination of pop, leverage, and leg drive just makes his bull rush terrifying. A large toolbox of pass rush moves for a true junior. Attacks with a variety from a Euro step to a club rip to a cross chop. He just does it all. Pick your poison. That ability to disengage translates to the run game as well, with his ability to stack and shed. Strong player who sets a firm edge against the run, controls blockers, maintains good gap control. The change of direction is really good. He's able to work himself back and make plays on ball carriers. That's kind of reflected in his defensive stops, 35, more than anyone in my top 15. Very patient versus the run, won't be fooled by misdirection, quick to disengage. And he's able to crash down on cutback lanes. Played everywhere from 4-eye tech to wide 9. He can stand up. He can play with his hand in the dirt. Like, there's a lot to love here. I wouldn't say he's got elite twitch or burst, but that's a very minor nitpick. We're talking about a guy that moves exceptionally well. There were moments where he was late off the snap. I am curious specifically what the length will be at, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. And ball carriers have been able to run through his arm tackles, 17.6% missed tackle rate, but not a terrible rate for a defensive lineman. He is your blue chip player here. But let's go ahead. Let's get to some of these honorable mentions. And who do I want to start off with? Let's go with Patrick Payton, formerly of Florida State, now at LSU. And to be straight up, this dude has all the potential in the world. It's just not turned to elite production quite yet. He's tall, he's athletic, long arms, great bend, good corner and ability, just a really good athlete who probably has very problematic length. You go back to 2023 where he had 10 batted balls, just utterly insane. It's just, he needs to clean up as a tackler. He misses a lot of plays in the backfield because he just plays so fast. He doesn't always time the snap well. He's a finesse rusher, but he could definitely add a little bit more diversity in his pass rush toolbox. There are times in the run game where he's not a stack and shedder. He just tries to avoid contact. So I don't know, maybe on the verge of a DPR type of player, but like he's someone where the tools are there for him. I guess I mentioned the Michigan edge rushers, so let's just talk about them here. Derek Moore, former 4-star recruit, 2022 recruiting class. He's coming in at 6'3", 256 pounds. Really good first step. He's able to convert speed to power. Good bull rusher as well. Hands remain active. Good motor. But this dude's aligning all the time at 7 or 9 tech. Most of his pressures came from 7 tech or wider, which is fine. But when the interior of that Michigan team was so studded, it set him up nicely just to have one-on-one opportunities. I don't see much power in his game. Like the bull rush is good, but in part of that is because of the pad level he plays with. I don't think there's a lot of pop. The change of direction was kind of lacking. When he gets blown by the pocket, he's not going to find himself back to make a play. I think there's problems in the run game where he struggles to anchor. He'll get stonewalled, even by tight ends, which was kind of nuts. But yeah, I think he's a fine player. Just kind of missed my top 15. I still have like an early day 3 grade on him. Then there's TJ Guy, who I liked quite a bit. He's 6'4", 250. Very explosive. Love the closing speed. Has the foot speed to be a devastating looper on stunts. And big motor, not afraid of the physicality either. I love that he's going to put his nose in the action. But he only has really 1 year of meaningful snaps. The production came from that 7 tech or wider spot. Plays with a high pad level. He's a 1-speed pass rusher, so he flies by the pocket a lot. The tackling technique needs some work. There was times where he slipped off the quarterback for potential sacks, and someone I just don't think will be good in the run game in the NFL. So that's why those Michigan rushers are not on my list, and why I have a linebacker from Michigan there that's making the transition edge. I'm just saying. I want to give a shout out to Anthony Smith from Minnesota. Excuse me. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. Terrific blend of height, weight, and length. Long strides allow him to eat up a lot of ground quickly. He's strong and violent. But he aligned anywhere from 3 tech to like 7 or like 9 Y9. And while he might not have the flexibility or like the consistent bend to actually corner, I think he's so strong that he can be very versatile in a manner of ways. He is a bit high hipped, so there are times where he's a little stiff with the change in the direction. But I think he does a good job at both against the run and against the pass, that he could probably play like a base 4-3 end and then maybe kick inside on passing downs and just finesse the guard, finesse the interior players. I think he's a true junior, so he actually might return. Maybe he's a redshirt junior. Yeah, redshirt junior, so he still might end up returning. Let me give shout outs to guys like Marvin Jones, who's currently at Oklahoma, formerly of Florida State and Georgia. And then there's Anthony Lucas at a USC, formerly of Texas A&M. But he's been at USC for like the last 2 years. These are guys with a lot of tools, length, strength, speed. They need to put it all together and actually turn it into production. So those are kind of your developmental guys. Maybe guys I need to give a shout out to that maybe people might lose their mind if they're not mentioned. There's Sunterrain Perkins out of Ole Miss. Listen, he's 6'1", 210 pounds. I have no idea what to think about him. Is he going to be an off ball? Is he kind of like an Ivan Pace type of linebacker? Or like I gave him a TBD grade to be determined. But, and plus, people are going to point to like the 11 sacks. Dude, his win rate's not good. 8.3% pass rush win rate. You're like, oh, but look at all those sacks and pressures. Because he was a spy. He was a quarterback spy. So the minute he saw a path, he shot. He was just sitting there against more mobile quarterbacks. And once they've kind of like broken the pocket or gotten outside of structure, that's when he would strike. It's not true pass rush production. Yeah. So I don't know what to think about him right now. James Williams out of Florida State, formerly in Nebraska. Listen, NFL ready frame. I like the get off the long strides. I just need to see more real quick of him. I think he hasn't played over 300 snaps in any given season yet, right? I didn't write that down, so I'm not positive, but I know it's a small bit of production. So it's a small sample size. So let's see what he does at Florida State, but very intriguing. Got a TBD grade on him. Same with Kenyatta Jackson Jr. A lot of potential there. Let's see now that he's a full-time starter, see what he can do with it. Eric O'Neal might be a guy mentioned during this process. He's 6'3", 255 pounds, formerly of James Madison. He's going to be at Rutgers this upcoming year. Listen, man, plays low, gets great leverage. Frame looks maxed out. I think he's got lack of length. He can be knocked off by angle blocks. Bull rush move is basically his only move. Like he's a really good college football player. That's kind of where I'm at. Who plays with that dog in him? I don't know how much of this will translate to the Big Ten. We'll see. People will like Trey Moore. I like Trey Moore, man. I think he's a very explosive athlete, but I think he might be a DPR. He's competitive versus the run. I'll say that. He's competitive, but I don't see... he just doesn't absorb contact all that good, but he's got a really good first step, very explosive athlete. Ethan Burke, also from Texas, feels like a guy. Just kind of feels like a guy. He's tall, long frame, very powerful, big motor, but average burst, average pursuit speed. Wins with effort as a pass rusher, not really a strategy, so probably an early down player, but I don't know. I don't think he's got much of a ceiling, if that's fair. Let's pick one more guy to talk about here, because there's some guys I haven't watched. But yeah, I don't know. You let me know. You let me know who's caught your eye during this process. But let's go with Khalil Alexander out of Texas State, because his production's insane. His size sucks. I'm just sorry. 6'3", 225 pounds. Well below average weight for the position. He looks even shorter on film. Probably lacks arm length. But another dude that plays with no quit in him. Unmatched motor. He's relentless. He will play through defenders, even if they got him. Very explosive, but at that size, it's kind of hard to project. But just because of like that dog he plays, or just because since he's a dog, I ended up giving him a draftable grade this early on in the process. We'll see how everything goes. But yeah, let me know who are some of your favorite prospects from this edge class in the comment section below. Is there a guy you really like that wasn't mentioned in this video? I mentioned a lot of guys. There's only so many guys I can watch this offseason. So let me know who are some of your favorite. But until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.